Chaos in downtown Dallas this afternoon. People running in fear after an incident at a national cheerleading competition inside the Kay Bailey Hutchison Convention Center. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, everybody. I'm Teresa Woodard. Dallas police just gave us an update on what happened. A fight between two parents happened at the National Cheerleaders Association competition. Police say multiple poles were knocked down during that fight. That caused loud noises and people wrongly believed that was gunshots. That led to a stampede. Multiple people sustained non-life-threatening injuries in all of the chaos. Many families thought there was an active shooter, but Dallas police say that was not the situation. There was no shooting. Varsity Brands runs the cheer competition. The organization sent us this statement this afternoon. Quote, the Kay Bailey Hutchison Convention Center has been evacuated as a precaution based on reports of a safety concern. NCA security officials are working with law enforcement to quickly investigate these reports. As a precaution, we have suspended activities for today and will continue to work with event staff and local authorities to ensure a safe environment when we resume the event. We have live coverage for you this evening. Richard Solomon heard from families who went through this at one of the biggest sporting events that Dallas hosts. But first, let's get to WFA's Chris Sadeghi, who was very close by when all of this happened. And Chris, families were very scared. You certainly saw it all firsthand.
Yeah, Teresa, all this happening right next door to our downtown studios, and there was hundreds, maybe thousands of people running away from the convention center and the Omni. Now, right now, Young Street is back open, and it appears things are mostly back to normal. I've only seen really a handful of cheerleader teams still out here, but in those frantic moments, we saw people trying to hide. It was obvious they thought they were running for their lives. When we first stepped out to see what was happening, we could see people even hiding in our bushes not far from our lobby, others running frantically away from the Omni and the convention center. From talking to many of them, they all told me a very similar story, that they heard some kind of loud commotion, loud bangs, and then people running, and that caused even more people to run right along with them, causing a stampede of sorts, as the fear was somebody was shooting either in the hotel or the convention center where the cheerleading event is held. From there, we saw families and teams trying to get in touch with each other, make sure everyone was okay, and reunite. Now, we know police have said no shooting occurred. That was the latest update. But in those frantic moments, those survival instincts kicked in for these kids, coaches, and their parents.
And as we started seeing everybody running over people, just got my wife and my daughter and put them in a corner, just try to shield them off, but we didn't know what was going on. We heard pop, 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 but I didn't know what it was.
I was buying drinks, and then a security guard ran past me and said active shooter, and I heard pops, like gunshots, and everybody started getting down and running.
And police confirmed what a lot of those people were telling us, that people were getting trampled on, stomped on as those people were trying to make their way out of the building, and that some of them were injured. Non-life-threatening injuries was the word from police. Also, no word at this point on any arrest from this entire situation. Right now, I'm going to send it over to my colleague, Richard Solomon, who's also been talking to some of the families who were caught right in the middle of this. Richard.
Yeah, Chris, the fight and chaos happened hours ago by now, but I can tell you, after speaking with families, different athletes, people all afternoon, the fear is still very much with them even now at this moment. Now, Dallas police actually set up a reunification center on Lamar Street. That's a couple blocks from where we're standing at now. But we chose this spot, Chris, because with the folks that I spoke with earlier, they say in the midst of everything happening, they grabbed their loved ones and they came over here just to get away from everything happening at the convention center. And I want you to look at some of this video that we shot earlier today. Those I spoke with say they're just thankful that their loved ones are okay tonight. Police say the sound was poles falling, but I'm told by people who were inside, they thought they heard gunshots. The noise was so loud. And this was supposed to be a huge weekend here in Dallas, not only for the city, but for the sport as well. The 2025 NCA All-Star National Championship is actually tabled as the largest cheer competition in history. We're talking more than 30,000 athletes from 43 states and 9 countries, and it's expected to generate $64 million. Now we know from organizers and police the rest of today's competitions are suspended, but I spoke with the grandmother who was inside when all that happened. This is what she had to say.
It was pure chaos and panic. We heard the quick bang, just the quick popping noise, which people just started screaming, run, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
We ran and we got out of there as fast as we could.
And she told me in the midst of everything happening, she was actually knocked over. She rolled her ankle. But again, she is just thankful that her grandchildren are okay right now, just like a lot of folks who are out here this evening. But as far as athletes, I've spoken with them. They don't know if tomorrow will happen or not. They haven't been told yet the itinerary, but they want to make the most out of the rest of today and just try to find some joy and some good in it. So of course, a very chaotic scene, a very scary scene out here, Teresa, but like we said, Dallas police say there were no shots fired. So we'll keep you live out here. I'll give you another report at 6. For now, live in downtown Dallas, I'm Richard Solomon. Teresa.
Richard, thank you for your coverage. Chris Sadeghi also live from downtown Dallas for us this evening for our team coverage. We appreciate it, Richard. So just to recap everything that you have just heard, the most important key piece of information is that Dallas police say there was no shooting. You just heard multiple witnesses who said they heard loud noises. And of course, when you hear a loud noise and you are in a place where there's a lot of people, unfortunately, your mind probably goes to that place of gunshots. But Dallas police say there was absolutely no shooting, that poles fell over when two parents got into a fight, and that is what the loud noises were. People mistook those pops for shots. And then of course you also heard witnesses say that people were, yelling shooter, shooter, active shooter. And so of course that caused a lot of panic. You are seeing the aftermath here of just thousands of people spilling out into the streets of downtown Dallas, evacuating Kay Bailey Hutchison, also evacuating the Omni, which of course we know is right there. This actually is video from our newsroom because we are right here in the middle of all of this as well. So clearly a very scary situation for people. And we do know again that there were non-life-threatening injuries in all the chaos as people were trying to evacuate the area. But again, that key piece of information you need to know is that Dallas police are reiterating there were no shots fired. We're going to bring you the latest. Continue to work to find out more about what's happening tomorrow with this NCA competition moving forward, and also with where the police investigation stands. You heard Chris Sadeghi say this. No arrests have been made that we know of. We still don't know what might have led to the fight between parents. We're going to keep digging for information, so stay with us on air. Online, we are always on WFAA Plus. That is, of course, our free streaming app, which is available to you on Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV. So our coverage on this will continue throughout the evening, of course.